Hey everybody, this is Bible College Memoirs. This is our first episode of our podcast about Bible College. This is Jon-Marc,
Hello.
CJ.
Hey yo.
I'm Bodan. We just kind of want to have this podcast to talk about Bible College and everything that goes along with it. So I'll start us out saying, how did you guys hear about Bible College?
You want to go first or me?
You go first.
All right. I heard about Bible College from good old Michael Salgado.
He'll be on here sometime.
Yeah, eventually we'll get him as a guest. Basically, from what I remember, I was sitting in like a Texas Roadhouse or like a Logan's or something like that.
Very fitting because he's from Texas.
With my parents, and they told
Shout
me
out Pastor Corey and Pastor Melissa.
they'll also be a guest on here. At
They
some
will.
Point. Probably around December, something like that. But
Stay tuned.
basically, me and my parents were talking about future college and all that, and I don't know how it got on the subject, but I kind of knew I wanted to go to Bible college, and originally we were going to go to a place called, which I'm not going to trash them because I like that place, but at the time we were thinking about it, it was like kind of end of COVID type deal.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of still trying to get back on its feet after all that went down. And so it was I'm not trying to trash them. It was just kind of crap at that moment. and so originally I was thinking about going there, and then but then we were like, why go to two Bible colleges when I can just go to the one that I'm more excited about?
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm here, and second year going good. I'm excited.
We're almost done, which is crazy.
We are almost done.
That's crazy.
CJ, what you got? Why you here?
I never planned on coming to Bible college. I went to a whole different university. I was pursuing media. I thought I was gonna be a publicist. I thought I was gonna do everything behind the scenes, but that's not what I was. In a way, that's not what I was supposed to be doing. And so here's my story how I came to Bible college. So I was an intern at a church in Arkansas, and I started helping out with media and stuff. And the worship pastor at the time, he's like, hey, if you want to come to our rehearsal that we're having for worship on Sundays, you can come. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll come. I wasn't trying to sing. I was just trying to chill behind the scenes and take pictures and do everything else that's media wise. And I came to rehearsal, and I think everything was history. I was looking for schools because I had a pastor who's just like, you need to get back in school, because at the time, during COVID, I was just like, I don't really want to go back to school because I didn't have a desire. I didn't really have a desire to go to school because I was just like, I wanted to do ministry. So I was just like, why do I need school? And essentially, you really don't need it. But I was like, I don't need school to be doing any of the things that I want to do. I just planned on just enjoying my life and not doing anything radical or anything crazy. And so what happened was I ended up coming to Victory. Well, when I first came to Tulsa, so if you guys don't know, we go to a school in Tulsa. My first moment in Tulsa, I came to ORU, which is a big university, really popular here in Tulsa. And I could have sworn that was a school that I was going to go to. I made a plan. I got scholarships and stuff. I got in the program. I was like, this is the school I'm supposed to be at. And that ended up not happening because the school is just overly super expensive. I think you literally need to be rich to go there. Sometimes I still don't know how people are able to afford that school, but I was just like, I'm not willing to go into $50,000 of debt in my first year just to go to a school just with a name. And so I ended up not going there, and I came the second time. I had other options. One of my school options was a school in Texas. I had an option, I think, in Alabama. I had different options. And so my last option was the school we go to now. And I have this friend. She's like, oh, I have this school. I know somebody that goes to this school. And so what happens is I end up coming to the school for a tour. And I was just like, I don't like it. I was like, this is not the school for me. I came with one of my friends, and he's like, this is school for me. And I was like, you know what? For the longest, I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I don't want to be here. But fast forward, I'm on the podcast, and I end up coming to the school anyways. So the rest is history. That's how I end up coming to our school that we go to now, which we're probably not going to say the name of
Oh, I already did. But
Oh.
We all go to college.
no. Should we keep that in? I'm not sure.
You shouldn't have said that.
Yeah,
We'll cut that out.
I can censor it. I think I had like a very similar mindset to you whenever it came to college. Like everything that I wanted to do in terms of music and all that, I didn't really think I needed to learn. Like I could learn, like realistically speaking, I can learn all that on YouTube. Like
or learn from experience, like
Yeah.
doing the thing. Yeah.
yeah, and so it's like I can easily look up like so many tutorials and then be like, oh, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
And he does.
And I do, but I think coming here, I definitely learned a lot more.
Yeah. For me, it was more like too, like I wasn't trying to necessarily like be living in sin or nothing because I didn't want to come to Bible college, but it was just more like I just wanted to kick it every weekend with my friends and have enough money to do everything that I love to do, like just travel and stuff like that.
And get coffee.
And get coffee. But I guess at the time I was more into energy drinks, but
He's
Bodan,
different now. Okay,
what you
I'll
got?
go. You know, honestly, mine is about the same story because, like, before I came, I've gone to the church probably for 5-6 years now, and I never really even thought about going to the college for a long time. I didn't even know they had a college, or it was like I didn't really care to know. But you know, I was working. I finished high school, and I was working, and I'm like, okay, I enjoy this job, and I'm like, I don't need school to do this. So, I mean, fast forward to now, I don't work there anymore. I didn't get fired. I just left because it wasn't a great environment. So it was like, if I wouldn't have gone to school, what would I be doing right now? I'd be out of a job, and I mean, I probably would have found somewhere, but I wouldn't have had the experience to do it. And not so much Bible college is like helping with what I do right now, but it's like definitely like helping me get closer to the Lord and make great friends and stuff like that. So
What? Ooh, I have a good question. What
Okay.
was first impressions?
ooh,
of
that's
each
a big
other?
one. That's a big one. I'll
CJ
start.
Okay. Oh, Bodan.
So, well, I had some good first impressions. So first impressions, really, we went to the school for orientation, and then we went out to a camp, and this is kind of where I really got to know everybody. And my first experience of CJ, he scared me at first. I was like, he introduced himself. He's like, I'm CJ. I'm like, oh, hi. And I didn't really say anything to him the rest, but I was like, oh, okay, he's interesting. I was like, I wonder if we'll become friends, and I guess we did. So
This friendship gonna work out?
I think so. just buy him coffee, and he'll stay happy. That's the key to CJ's heart, and food.
that's true. I don't have first impressions. I don't. I just
Really?
really don't. Like, I normally don't remember unless it was like I just remember seeing y'all two together, so I thought y'all were brothers. But like other than that, like
Disclaimer: everybody thinks we're brothers for some reason.
I don't
know.
remember anything. Like I just don't. Like I can't even make it up. I honestly don't remember first impressions.
Yeah.
Like most people, like most people I don't remember.
Yeah.
Especially like when I've done life with you for a while. Like I normally don't remember first impressions unless like it was a really crazy like first impression.
And it has been over a year too. But I mean,
It's been a while.
yeah, I don't remember a lot from camp either.
I think my first impressions of like Bodan, I've told you this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought you were crazy.
I think most people still do.
No, I thought whenever I first meet someone, I am very like the first impression is very much who I think you are, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And so like it takes a while for me to actually get like comfortable around people.
Me
And
too.
so whenever I first met you, you were just like always there. And I was
That's
like,
true.
dang, I'm
Remember.
just trying to chill.
Well, it was crazy because I didn't know anybody. Like you had your you came with 5 people from Texas.
But even then, I'm very much a to myself person, and so I was just kind of like trying to like chill out and sit down on my phone,
Right.
and you were just always there, and I was like, oh shoot, not him again.
I have to entertain him.
I have to entertain him. No, but
I remember that. I was like, I hope I'm not making this weird, but I was like, I have nobody else to talk to here.
But eventually I got used to you, and so now I'm now we're here.
We're here.
We're here. CJ, I've told you this many times. I don't know why the only thing I remember about you is just that you talked with your hand over your mouth every single time we had a conversation. You'd always just.
I think I was nervous.
I don't know, because I thought it was just originally that you were eating, because whenever we first talked to each other, it was at the lunch tables. at camp, and so every time you spoke, you always put your hand over your mouth. I know this is terrible for the microphone, but podcast picture apparently.
Podcast picture, everybody get in.
But you always had your hand over your mouth every time you spoke, and I thought it was just because you were eating at the time, but then you started doing it at the bunks, and I was like, oh, this is just a normal thing. But like that's the only thing I remember about like first impressions with you. All I remember before that was just like I knew you were in the worship track. I knew you like music, and so I was like, okay, I can get along with this guy, and so it worked out, and now we're here.
Okay, here's one. If you could give advice to somebody who wants to attend Bible college, or like the first years that like I don't know how much we talk to them. I don't talk to them that much, but like
I talked to a few.
yeah, like if we have any advice for them, what would it be? CJ, you want to go?
I feel like you talk to the most people. So
Yeah,
you have
that's
more
true.
of like a outlook on like the new people.
Like basically, what advice would you give them that like when you were in their shoes, you would have you wish you would have known?
Advice. I think my biggest advice would probably be like don't try to fit in, like especially, and don't think that because you are different, then there's something wrong with you. Because I think most people that come like here, they're different. Like they come from different parts of the world. The way they speak is different. The way they dress is different. Like you just have different people like from different walks of life. And I think a lot of times it's so easy like to think like, oh, because this person dresses this way, then they got money, or because a person does this, then they don't have insecurities, or like because somebody sings on the stage, then they're super holy, or because like just a lot of like what would you call it, like a lot of not true things. Like I think it's just important to in a way value that you are different, and don't try to I say don't try to make friends with everybody. I say be nice to everybody, but understand that there will be like people that just have their like one or two people that they're just like really close with, and this is nothing wrong with that. But I say just try to find. I'm not even sure if I would call you a tribe. In a way, kind of try to find your tribe of people that you just kind of click with, and there will be some people that you click with that you just like really really don't click with. Like you're cool and you hang out, but y'all like are not really like besties in a way. So just know, I think especially to like know where you stand with people, because there's some people, for example, like our pastor was talking about today, like there's some people that you love but you're not telling them all your business. Like there's some things that I don't share with certain people because there's like a key to my heart that I just don't give to everybody, because either I know that you can't do anything about it, or that I can trust you. Like even if you're like, oh, you can come to me whenever you want, and I will be here for you, like to vent. So I say, just know, be okay with being different, understanding that not everybody deserves the key to your heart, and another thing is knowing that growth is subjective. Like I think for one person from Texas, it might be different spiritually what growth may look like. And I think we can't compare our growth to other people, because some people really fake it. Like I think when it comes to like Christianity and faith, you can really fake it a lot. Like it's easy to lift your hands during worship. It's easy to sing songs during worship. It's easy to tell people you're blessed and highly favored. But it's just like behind closed doors, like, are you really okay? And I think I'm gonna say one last thing because I'm talking a lot. I think another thing is understanding that you are human and that you are not perfect. Because a lot of people here, they in a way like sometimes try to make it seem like, oh, everything's okay. But I think it's really important to understand that you're a human, in that just because you don't always feel goosebumps, or just because everything's not amazing in your life, doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Just know you're human, and that you may have different callings and different abilities from everybody else. And I think it's also subjective to what it looks like, because we go to a Bible college. Of course, everybody wants probably the goal for most people is to work in a church one day or to be in ministry. But I think when we get done, everything will all look different. So just knowing that although it may not look like you working in a church, it may look like you working at Starbucks, but that's just as much as ministry as a pastor. Like, we all are doing ministry in a different way, but I think just knowing that ministry is not like a title, ministry is not the pastor, ministry is not all the things that look Christian needs. Ministry, we are ministry. Like, we, in a way, we are the people that do ministry. So I think just realizing that ministry literally could be anything. Like, people write books, people just do different things. People paint. Like, ministry doesn't have to be in the church. And I guess one more thing is you don't have to pretend. You don't have to pretend when it comes to ministry. Like, there's this thing in the church where I think naturally we draw to people in a way that look like Jesus. But I think it's important to realize is that you look like Jesus. You're just not the same person as them. So I think you just have to realize that I am different, and although I may not look like the next person, doesn't mean that I don't look like Jesus. It just looks like our lives are different. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I'd say, honestly, there's a reason why it's called the first impression, because that doesn't mean it should be the only impression. If I met you guys and I immediately, like, if I met you, Bodan, and my first impression was that you were clingy, and then that continued to be my impression of you, then I probably wouldn't have cared.
Right.
You probably wouldn't be like a good friend of mine now.
Right,
and
right,
so
right.
I know someone who, I'm not going to say their name, obviously, but I know someone who had a bad first impression of someone here whenever we first got here, who he was just like, oh, he's so arrogant. He's so, what's it called? He's so egotistical. He's so full of himself. But then he got to know him, and then he realized, like, oh, he's actually a really good guy.
Oh, yeah, I do. That happens all the time with me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, I'm not even trying to say, like, oh, he's such a bad person for thinking of that. Like, I'm not even trying to say that, because we all do it. We all do that all the time. And I think we have to realize, like, it's not as simple as just, oh, like, this person is, like, this person did this during worship. Like, they, I personally overthink a lot of things about, like, especially during worship. I overthink about, like, hand placement. Am I kneeling or am I not? Am my hands in the air? Am I not? Am my hands to my side? And stuff like that.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Jon-Marc. But, like, first impressions, I can think of many people where I'm like, why would I want to be their friend? And then like something will happen that I'm like, not be like a partner in a group project or something, but just something will come up where I'll like run into them or something. And they'll be like, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, good. How are you? And we'll like I can think of many times where I'm like, okay, this is actually, they're actually a really good person, like genuinely, because it's like it's so hard. It's so easy to just like look at people and be like, oh, why would I want to be their friend?
No, even whenever it comes to first impressions, like, that doesn't mean you have to like everyone. Obviously, that doesn't have to mean that doesn't mean that you have to walk into every room and be like, oh, I'm not gonna let first impressions get me down. Everyone here is an amazing person.
Right,
like,
right. Because everybody's different.
That's not
like
always
CJ
true.
said, growth is subjective.
Yeah, and
so
you're not gonna mesh well with everyone. And
No,
so, like,
no.
even if everyone is a great person, in the room, that doesn't mean you're gonna get along with everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I can see everyone in the room and be like, oh, this person is so cool, like, but like, if our personalities don't mesh, I'm not gonna be able to talk to them. Like,
right. You know, that's an interesting point you make, because I'm in the media track at our school. They're both in worship, and I have more friends in worship than I do in my own track. Not because I just don't talk to people in my own track, but just because I don't know. I just don't. I've never. It's not that I haven't gotten to know them, but it's just and I didn't even know this when we started the friendship. I didn't know they were both in worship. I might have known you were, but I don't know. I don't think I did. You want to be on our podcast for like a minute, Angel? This is Angel Salgado.
You don't have to. We can cut it out.
All right.
It's the crazy Boricua Angel Salgado coming in live from CJ's room.
Beautiful, beautiful, absolutely incredible. Thank you for thank you for the cameo. That was
fine. He's
pardon the interruption. Let's get back to what we're doing.
Alright.
I don't know if we covered this yet, but like, what is the most important thing that you've learned while being here? And maybe you, well, I was gonna say maybe you even haven't learned it yet. Like, I feel like this would be more of a question for the end of the year. But like, up to this point, what have you learned so far? That's like you feel that
I
you've.
think, CJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think my stage presence has gotten a little bit better. Okay.
Yours too, CJ.
Unfortunately, you can't see him on the camera, but he's doing a little dance.
He's having a praise break.
He's having a very slow, methodical praise break.
I was CJ. Funny you mentioned that, Jon-Marc. Sorry, I just want to make a point that I was watching a video of you on the second day of school, lead worship. I found it on my phone, and you were so different.
Was it Unforgettable Love?
I think so.
Wait, this year or last year?
Last year,
Last year?
second day of first year, it was crazy how different you
I was
were.
just talking about that
Because
we're singing that song next week.
Oh, nice.
Which is like
I can't wait.
momentary for me.
Yeah, but sorry, I just thought I was like, you have improved so much on your stage. We're gonna crowd surf you one chapel service.
One day.
I want to.
That would be
Yes!
so funny.
What song? We
You
got
have
to.
to, you have to run that by Pastor Israel.
Oops.
Hey yo, everybody get to the center. Just dives out. We're all like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Part the Red Sea.
Part the Red Sea. Moses is coming through. Huh? Oh, we're talking about what we have learned while we've been here at Bible College.
I think one of the best pieces of advice that I've learned is that it's okay to want different things than other people, and it's not spiritual. It's normal. Like, I think a lot of times, like if I'm the type of person and I want something, like say for example, I want $1 million.
Don't we all?
I'm not prideful because I want $1 million. That just means you don't want $1 million and I want it.
Yeah.
But for like, we have this thing with Christians. They're like, if you want something that most Christians don't want, then you're either prideful or you crazy.
Yeah.
Or
And
even
so-
sinful.
Even sinful. Like for example, the whole thing with tattoos. It's just like some people want it, some people don't want it, but it's just like it doesn't make me a bad person because I want something that you don't want. And I think another too is don't apologize. One, the main thing, and if you cut it, I probably want you to use the second one, is don't apologize for your success or don't apologize for who you are. Because I think a lot of times when you're thriving, to some people it looks like pride. It's like, oh, this person thinks they're better than this person, or oh, this person thinks they're better than this. But it's just like, if you've worked hard for something, don't allow nobody to be like, oh, this person thinks they're better than this. You work for what you work for. Like, you put in the work. And so it's just like, never feel bad that you're even at a certain level, like you're thriving in a certain area because you're successful, because other people will make you feel like, oh, you're doing something wrong. What's another piece of advice? I think I want you to cut most of these.
Oh, why? I like all of them.
Another piece of advice is I think generally just have and try to connect with people that try to connect with people who seem like they are like don't have anybody in a way, because you will see people all the time, but then you like, oh, sorry. You will see people all the time, and then like you notice them, but you never see them around when it comes to like the get-togethers and the gatherings. So I say sometimes there's stuff deeper, like those people, they want to hang out and they want to do stuff, but they don't even. Sometimes people don't feel welcome.
They're never invited.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's so easy, like, for us to like get caught up in our group of friends that we realize that there are people that don't even have nobody. Like, there's this one guy, I was like in his room yesterday, and I'm just like, I never noticed him at like anything, but it's just like, to him on the outside it seems like, oh, you have like a group of friends, and I don't. But it's just like, it's not like that. It's more like, we want you to have a good time too. Like, it's not just I have my group of friends, but it's just like, we are, in a way, we are family, so we're trying to build like a community. It's all like in college, we we mainly focus on like community, so it's not just like, oh, here's my group of friends and I'm not gonna let anybody in, because then it becomes just like, I don't think you grow. You don't grow when you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna stick to what I know.
Yeah.
There's no growth. But when you allow people to come in your space and in your world, and you don't maybe not really know them, then not only do they grow in their confidence, because they don't feel like, oh, I suck. They're like, oh, I feel accepted too. So I think just knowing that, in a way, everybody needs a place to, in a way, feel accepted. And sometimes you are the person that will allow them to feel accepted. But if you're so caught up in like, oh, I'm just gonna stick to what I know, then somebody may not ever feel accepted. Somebody may always be depressed. Somebody may always be anxious. So I know it's not our responsibility necessarily to make everybody feel seen, but I think we can do a lot better with helping people feel seen, and it's so important. Like, I know a lot of times people will say like, oh, it's not my fault, like, that I made them feel this type of way. It's not your fault, but can we do a better job in making everybody feel seen? Yes, we can. So that's some of the things that I've learned with being here. Not super spiritual, but
No, it's good. Community is important anywhere. And I think it's interesting you say, when you bring somebody new into a friend group, just for example, you can teach them stuff and they can teach you stuff. So it's like, you might have your realm of knowledge and say, okay, well, there's nothing else I really need to know. But somebody might come into it. You might invite somebody to your friend group and say, oh, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that I could use that in like stuff. So Jon-Marc, you got anything?
I was, I think my answer was already, I gave it like a short answer, but definitely I think I've borderline like conquered stage fright in a way.
Yeah.
Like I came into this very much like afraid to be on stage, and like mic check, like scared the crap out of me.
I didn't even know you had stage fright.
I did.
That's crazy. I never knew.
But like every time they do mic check, and if you don't know what mic check means, basically it's I should have brought my charger. Okay.
Uh-oh.
It's fine. We'll end the episode soon. But I used to, mic check is basically like right before a performance you'll test everyone's mic volumes and all that. And so you basically have to sing with no instrumental at like the same volume that you were going to do once there was instrumental. And so that always terrified me, because I'm like, oh my God, it's going to just be me.
Yeah.
And so, but now I do it almost immediately, and I think it's a whole lot easier.
Yeah,
but yeah.
definitely.
Quick answer from you, because this thing is about to die.
Okay, quick answer from me. I kind of gave like the inviting new people in, like that's really important. It's just because you don't know you don't know everything, and we'll never know everything. But the more people we get to know, and the more people bring in, not even to our friend groups, just as friends.
Yeah.
The more like knowledge we get, because I've made friends that have taught me stuff. You've taught me about music stuff that I don't know, and I don't know everything, but I know a lot more. I still don't like musicals. So.
Well, that's your loss.
Well, okay, but yeah. So basically, I think it's just important to just bring friends in, and don't even make as many friends as you can. Just value the friendships that come into your life, because like even in college, these are the ones that last. Like these are like lifelong friendships. Yeah. So. That's basically all I have. Anybody else got anything before we?
I don't think we can put anything else.
All right,
because
that's
this thing
it.
is so close. It's probably at like 10%.
Yeah.
I will bring the charger next time.
Okay, good idea. But all right, thanks for being on, CJ. Thank you all for listening. We will. We don't know who our next guest is, so just stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. All right, see you next time.
Bye. CJ, say bye.
Bye.
Yeah.